The Dunbar Armored Heist sent shockwaves through the nation. It was a crime that captured the imagination of the public and law enforcement alike. A heist so audacious and well executed that it seemed like something out of a Hollywood movie. It happened in 1997, a time when security measures were thought to be nearly foolproof. The year was marked by significant events, but none quite as shocking as this. A group of robbers made off with a staggering $18.9 million. This wasn't just a simple grab and go, it was a meticulously planned operation that required precision and nerves of steel. This wasn't just any robbery, it was a heist that would go down in history, not just for the amount stolen but for the sheer audacity and meticulous planning involved. The target was Dunbar Armored, a company known for its supposedly impenetrable security. The robbers had done their homework, studying every detail of the facility's layout and security measures. It was a meticulously planned operation. The robbers knew exactly when and where to strike, exploiting the smallest vulnerabilities in the system. This heist became a chilling reminder. It showed that even the most secure facilities could be vulnerable if someone was determined and clever enough to find a way in. It showed that even the most secure facilities could be vulnerable. The robbers had managed to bypass multiple layers of security, leaving law enforcement and the public in shock. The robbery took place at Dunbar's Los Angeles facility. This was no spur-of-the-moment crime. The perpetrators had spent months planning and preparing for this one night. This was no spur-of-the-moment crime. The robbers had invested a significant amount of time and effort into ensuring their plan would succeed. The perpetrators spent months casing the joint. They observed the guards' routines, noted the shift changes, and identified the best time to strike. They studied the guards' routines. Every detail was scrutinized to ensure that nothing was left to chance. They analyzed the building's layout. Every corner, every entrance and exit was mapped out to perfection. Their meticulous planning paid off. The heist went off without a hitch. At least initially, the heist went off without a hitch. The robbers executed their plan with military precision, leaving no room for error. At least, that's what it seemed like at first. The robbers had managed to pull off the heist of the century, but their success was short-lived. The robbers' success shocked law enforcement. They couldn't believe that such a well-guarded facility had been breached so easily. It wasn't just the amount stolen, it was the audacity of it all. The robbers had pulled off a heist that seemed impossible. It was the audacity of it all. The sheer boldness of the crime left everyone in awe and disbelief. How could a group pull off such a brazen heist? The FBI launched a massive investigation determined to bring the culprits to justice. The FBI launched a massive investigation. They were determined to bring the culprits to justice, no matter how long it took. They were determined to bring the culprits to justice. The investigation was one of the largest in the FBI's history. Little did they know, the answer was closer than they thought. The robbers had made a critical mistake that would eventually lead to their downfall. The Dunbar Armored Heist became a watershed moment. It forced security companies to rethink their protocols and implement more stringent measures. It forced security companies to rethink their protocols. The heist led to significant changes in the industry, with new technologies and strategies being implemented to prevent such a breach from happening again. It led to significant changes in the industry. The heist remains a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance and the human capacity for both ingenuity and greed. The heist remains a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance and the human capacity for both ingenuity and greed. It serves as a lesson that no matter how secure a system may seem, there is always a way to outsmart it if one is determined enough. The mastermind behind the Dunbar heist was Alan Pace. He was the brains behind one of the most audacious and meticulously planned heists in American history. Pace wasn't a career criminal. He was an ordinary man, blending seamlessly into society, which made him the perfect candidate to orchestrate such a high-stakes operation. He was a former employee of Dunbar Armored, a company responsible for transporting large sums of money. He had worked as a regional safety inspector for the company. This role gave him unparalleled access to the inner workings of Dunbar's operations. This gave him intimate knowledge of Dunbar's security procedures. He knew every protocol, every loophole, and every vulnerability. He knew the ins and outs of the facility like the back of his hand. His familiarity with the layout was crucial for the heist's success. Pace carefully selected his accomplices. He didn't just pick anyone, he chose individuals he could trust implicitly. His crew consisted of childhood friends and associates. These were people he had known for years, people who shared a bond of loyalty and trust. Pace shared his knowledge of Dunbar's security with his crew. He trained them rigorously, ensuring they were prepared for every possible scenario. He wanted to ensure the heist went off without a hitch. Every detail was scrutinized, every move rehearsed. Pace was a master manipulator. He had a way with words, and could easily convince others to follow his lead. He used his charisma to control his crew. His leadership was unquestioned, and his crew followed his instructions to the letter. He instilled in them a sense of loyalty and secrecy. They knew the stakes and the importance of keeping their plans under wraps. Pace's meticulous planning and leadership were key to the heist's success. He left nothing to chance, ensuring every aspect was covered. He had anticipated every possible contingency. Or so he thought. Despite his careful planning, there were always variables that couldn't be controlled. Pace's inside knowledge proved invaluable. He knew exactly how to bypass the security systems without raising any alarms. He knew the guard schedules. This allowed him to plan the heist during a shift change, minimizing the risk of confrontation. He knew the location of the security cameras. This knowledge enabled him to avoid detection and move through the facility undetected. He even knew the combination to the vault. This was the final piece of the puzzle, allowing them access to the money. With Pace at the helm, the crew felt confident. They believed in his plan and in their ability to execute it flawlessly. They believed they had pulled off the perfect crime. But as with all plans, there were unforeseen challenges that lay ahead. On the night of September 12, 1997, Pace and his crew put their plan into action. They infiltrated the Dunbar facility. Their movements were precise and calculated. They used their knowledge of the guard rotations to avoid detection. They disabled the security cameras. They were in and out within an hour. The crew made their way to the vault. Pace calmly opened the door. Inside they found stacks of cash. More money than they had ever seen in their lives. They loaded the money into a getaway truck. They left no trace behind. The following Monday morning, Dunbar employees discovered the theft. Panic ensued. The FBI was immediately notified. The news of the heist sent shockwaves through the city. It was a crime of unprecedented scale. The robbers had vanished into thin air. They had covered their tracks expertly. The FBI had few leads. The investigation seemed hopeless. However, the investigators didn't know it yet, but the seeds of the robbers' downfall had already been sown. Counting the spoils, the aftermath of the heist. After the heist, Pace and his crew lay low. They followed Pace's instructions. They didn't spend any of the stolen money. They knew that drawing attention to themselves would be a mistake. They waited patiently for the heat to die down. However, Pace hadn't anticipated the sheer volume of the loot. $18.9 million takes up a lot of space. Hiding it proved to be a challenge. The robbers stashed the money in various locations. They used storage lockers and safe houses. Despite their efforts, cracks began to appear. One of the robbers, unable to resist the allure of his newfound wealth, made a crucial mistake. He used a large sum of cash to purchase a house. This caught the attention of the authorities. The robber's carelessness would prove to be the unraveling of the entire operation. It provided the FBI with a much-needed lead. They were finally closing in on the perpetrators of the Dunbar Armored Heist.